Josh with Combat Sports Today. I'm joined with Reece Machen. I hope I said that right. There was listen to the broadcast. There was a couple of different pronunciations. I was just
Yeah,
making sure I got that right.
yeah, did it right.
My first question I got to ask is the nickname Hard R. Are you keeping that or what? We got to get the story on that.
Yeah, I don't know. So it started off as kind of like a joke, and so a lot of people don't know that I'm black because I don't look black. My dad's black, my mom's white. Somehow I turned out looking like Hispanic, Puerto Rican, or whatever. So whenever I meet new people, um, it's like a surprise to them. So how the nickname came about was my friends took me to a restaurant where they were like day drinking and stuff, and they already had friends there that were day drinking. And this dude named Tanner, he was pissed drunk. Like he had already been drinking all day. And they introduced me as, oh, this guy fights UFC or he fights MMA. He's a fighter. So it's like just how people introduce me to people. And I'm like, no, not quite. And I have to have the conversation. But he just like went straight into it, like, oh, like, what's your nickname? What's your nickname? And I was like, I don't really have one. I'm waiting for somebody to come up with one. And he was like, okay, Reece. And then he just started spewing out stuff. And then he was like, are you Orthodox, Southpaw? And I'm just kind of playing along because I'm like, whatever. And I was like, I have a right hand. I have a nice little right hand on me. So in his mind, he was like, oh, bro, like hard R. It just made sense to him. He's like, hard R, hard R. And all my friends are like sitting here like, is he gonna take offense to that? And I'm sitting here kind of laughing because I understand he's drunk. And then he starts like chanting it like hard R Reese in the middle of the restaurant. And there's like a whole bunch of people looking at us, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, you can't really like say that out loud." And I like kind of explained to him what like hard R means to a lot of people, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, bro, I didn't even think of that." And so, like, kind of as a joke, I told my friend like, "Yeah, I'll use that as the fighter name." And then I was like, "Whatever, I'll just do it," and I did. And then now it's whatever you think it means, bro. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, I was in the crowd, like I died laughing. I thought it was, great and hilarious. And I thought I don't know if that was like what you were going for, was like the comedic aspect, because that's something people are going to remember though.
Oh
It's
yeah, I caught so much hate for that. Like my friends were all in the comments in the live feed, and people were like, "Oh, that's crazy. That's diabolical. Like, why would he say stuff like that?" Like some people loved it. Like Cigars International, my sponsor. So shout out to Cigars International, dude. They loved it. They understood like the deal, the joke, and everything. And it could stand for anything. Like it could just stand for Reese, like it could stand for right hand, or
yeah,
whatever else hard R could stand for. I don't know, but I didn't really. I don't know. I don't think much into it whenever I'm
you
doing
know,
stuff like that. I just thought it was like kind of a joke, and then I was like, we'll see what other people think of it. And
yeah,
I got a whole bunch of answers. My mom was like, "Hey, that hard R thing, like, that's gonna be like a one-time thing, right?" And I was like, "It's not up to me. It's not up to me now. It's if they
yeah.
keep calling me it,
Talking about your last fight, you got that first round stoppage. Big congrats on that.
Appreciate it.
I was yeah, I was listening to the broadcast, like they were mentioning you had a pretty severe, I think, rib injury.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had a tough camp. Like at the beginning of the camp, I had gotten sick and like I was coughing so much I started coughing up blood and we never really figured out what it was. It just kind of eventually went away. And I had to train like I was in fight camp. Like we also had five fighters in fight camp at our gym at the same time. So like Lohan Estevez, he was fighting for a title. Um, he didn't end up being able to fight because the guy missed weight. So he cornered me instead. But the whole fight camp, he was there. And, he's a dog. Like it's when we do those real rounds, he's going hard. Same thing with Caden and Dragon. Dragon was fighting for a title too. And then also Colin. So we were throwing hands like the whole camp, and I think like 2 weeks out, um, right, like I started feeling good, and then we were doing a lot of grappling, a lot of wrestling, and I got slammed. Like I just didn't fall the right way, and I had like a rib that I don't know. The chiropractor said that it like popped in and out of place, and then it's just gonna be tender for like three months until it heals. So yeah, that was horrible. Like the whole 2 weeks leading up, I was like, dang man, I don't even know if I should do this. Like I was trying to get it to heal, but I can't stop training. So it was like getting worse and worse for a while. The chiropractor said from the x-ray, it looks like it had popped out of place, and then popped back in, but it was right in the back. So like connecting
Mhm.
like to the spine. But it wasn't a huge deal. I figured, I was like, man, it's the toughest motherfucker card anyways. The last week leading up to the fight, it was actually like it felt pretty good. Like I could tell it wasn't all the way healed, but it felt pretty decent. So
Well, I was surprised, like I said, I went back and watched, the fighting, able to hear the broadcast. He said, watching it live, I did not think you had an injury. And when they said that, I was like, huh, really? Okay. So, given that injury, how active are you trying to be this year? Yeah.
yeah, so I think that injury is kind of healed. I would like to be as active as possible, but I kind of leave it up to my coaches. Like, good
Thank
fight
you.
for me coming up, good timeline, whatever it is. Um, I just say yes. Like
Yeah.
whatever they give me, I trust my coaches here at Ohana 100%. So um,
Yeah.
if I had my way, I would say like probably 4 more fights this year. Like that's how active I want to be. Uh, because I do wanna go pro. Like I do want to make a
Yeah.
full-time job of this, but we'll see what happens.
Being active is, before going pro, is capturing an amateur title something you would like to get done before you turn pro, or is it more so the cage experience that
A title would be cool, but I mean, I feel like at the amateur level, it really doesn't mean much because there's guys that go and get a title and they have 2 wins and they don't
yeah,
have really any cage experience, right? Like
yeah,
for me, it's I want good tests every time that I go into the cage because I have the best training partners that like we're the powerhouse gym in San Antonio. We have the best talent at jujitsu, Muay Thai. Like I'm testing myself every day in practice, but when there's 1,000 people there and 20,000 people watching on, like I want a good test in the octagon
yeah.
with all eyes on me. So um, that's really what I'm looking for. So if I get 4 solid fights for 4 solid, like high level guys at amateur, I'm not worried about whether it's title or not. I want to get in there and like put on a show. Like I want people to
Yeah.
see what we do at Ohana. Like
Having that, the decision in your debut kinda helped get some of the jitters.
yeah, so in my first fight, I'm like I wasn't nervous. It's just a fight, dude. I'm ready to fight. Like if I walked out in the parking lot right now, if somebody had a problem, we're throwing hands. Like I'm ready for it. For me, it was more so like I wanted to win a certain way. Like I had it in my mind. I envisioned it. Like during practice, the things that I was practicing was to get that highlight. And I feel like the best thing for me in my debut was to go all 3 rounds. My coaches, they even told me, they're like, don't go out trying to kill the dude. We don't know what he's really gonna do. We know he's a grappler, but go out there and feel him out. Um, I took the whole round to feel him out, which was a mistake. They told me in the corner, they were like, "Hey, look, like we said feel him out, like don't take the whole round. Like you only get 3 minutes." So it was an experience for me, and I think it was a great experience for me because that dude was tough too. I came out second round, like dropped him, and I threw that right hand with everything I had behind it, and he went like ass up, like hit the ground, and then he just like was a zombie the whole rest of the round. So that was a good experience for me too. So I think it goes both ways. First round knockout showed all the work that I had done from that October fight, from the debut, all the way up until that second fight. And whether it goes to decision or I get that first round knockout, um, I feel like it's gonna show my progress. Even if I lose, it's one of those things where it's amateur. Like I'm not like obviously nobody wants to lose by knockout or submission, but it's amateur. This is where you go to grow and learn before you go to pro. So I value them both the same. Obviously, it's cool when you can beat the crap out of somebody in the first round in 90 seconds and you're out of there. Now you can go drink beer with the homies. But I value them both the same, I'd say.
I know you had that, that like you said, that huge knockout at Fury FC 102, and just talking about the excuse me, the emotions that run through your post-fight celebration of, marking the territory on the
Yeah.
cake, just going into that, like, what kind of emotions, play into
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a very like I don't really get nervous before I go
Mhm.
perform out in front of a bunch of people. If I wasn't prepared, I guess I would get nervous. People kept asking me, "Is that like something you planned? Like, did you think about it?" I was like, "No, I didn't really plan it. Like, it's not something I really put too much thought about." As far as like the emotion part of it, like I'm pretty even keel for the most part. But, it was one of those things where all at once, I felt the emotion of having Lohan Estevez in my corner, hearing him during the fight, like he can bring it out of me. My dad was there, and he hasn't seen me compete in any sports since like for the past like 10 years. So he was there, my mom was there. Like I had a lot of purpose, and it just kind of all came out right there at the end. I wanted to do like a backflip, like that's kind of what I would have planned to do, but my rib was hurt, so I can't do that. And in the moment, I just remember Jason Yarrington, our head coach, saying, "You got to be comfortable. That octagon is your home." And like I was like, yeah, it is. I'm pissing. Like, I don't know. Like, I couldn't do a backflip. So I just, like, I'm pissing. Like, it just happened. I don't know. I caught a lot of hate for that, too. The announcers were fucking
Really?
hating on me. Like, oh, wow. Well, that's the first. And hopefully you'll last. And I'm like, all right, bro. Like, whatever. I'll do it again just to piss you off.
Yeah, you gotta do it next time now.
Dude,
You just
yeah,
you
right?
have to now. Like I said,
Yeah,
I
that's
thought it was
crazy.
I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I was laughing in the crowd with it, and I even laughed when I was rewatching it, listening to the broadcast and everything. I thought it was great, but,
Yeah.
whatever.
I was a little I'm not gonna lie, 'cause like, I was a little bit embarrassed, like, later on, like, once all the kinda, like the hype kinda, like, died down and I got home, and then, like, people kept reposting it, people kept, like, DMing me about it, like, "Bro, that was crazy." Um, and then some people didn't like it, like, I saw, like, some family were like, "Yeah, I wasn't big on that," but, I mean, my dad liked it, um the people who did like it made up for it. Like my sponsor loved it. It was dope.
Yeah,
So
see, that's all that matters, the fans and the sponsors. You said it was embarrassing, but I think it's a little less embarrassing than trying and failing a backflip maybe on TV.
yeah,
That's just me
exactly.
thinking, but,
Exactly.
I don't have much experience in, being on national, TV like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, I mean, if I would have done a backflip, bro, I would have landed on my face. Like that dude took me down right on the side, like the rib, like where it was kind of hurting too.
Mm.
So I was like, if I did a backflip right then, it wouldn't have gone well. So I just made the most out of it. I was having fun anyway. So
I know you're kind of based here in San Antonio, and Fury is a Texas promotion. Do you prefer fighting that hometown feel as opposed to like going into Houston where it's not really your hometown?
yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of friends in Houston. I don't mind. Like at the end of the day, like a fight's a fight, and if it's a good fight for me, I'll go wherever my coaches want me to. But as far as I prefer, yeah, San Antonio is a little bit easier. Houston smells funny. I don't know, I've never really liked Houston. I'm just not a fan of the city like that. Like as far as fans, like I travel well. Like I had a whole bunch of people travel to my first fight in Houston. Had a bunch of people here in San Antonio that came too. It doesn't matter to me, but like, just for convenience purposes, San Antonio would be great if I could just get my next one right here.
All right, man. Take it easy.
You too. You too. I'll see you later.
All right.